Only a few days to go. Hope you're keeping all right. Keep going.
Cutting you off. Inspiration Nation. Hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on a podcast. My very good friend, Jose Noya. Ryan without this week, sending you love. But Jose, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Sending Ryan some love. Yeah. Excellent. Lee, hit me with it. What are we talking about?
You're over the place there. So we are, obviously, if you are with us live on either TikTok or YouTube, it is it Wednesday today? It is. It's Wednesday the 20th of December. However, podcast feed, it is Christmas Eve today. So Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. And I'd like to hit us with a Christmas quote, if that's okay, Jose, to
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, because
keep on
I was
thing.
thinking. Yeah, that's really good. Go on. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
So this comes from a classic. One of my favourite stories over Christmas. The quote is from A Muppet Christmas Carol. It may also be from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, but I prefer to think of it as from A Muppet's Christmas Carol, which is on my watch list every year. I will honour Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year.
My heart. And keep it all the year.
And try to keep it all the year.
I'll try. Okay.
So this is from Scroogey Scroogerson. Once he's had his epiphany and he feels great
I
about
love
the
it.
world.
Yeah, I love
And he
it.
talks
Yeah,
about the spirit of Christmas and said keeping it all the year. So I do love Muppet Christmas Carol. It's one of my favourites. That, National Lampoon, and actually another version. There's Scrooged with Bill Murray is great, and Spirited on Apple TV with Ryan Reynolds, which is another adaptation of Scrooge. So I'm all over Scrooge.
Oh, Spirited. Is that? Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It is. We get no commission for this, by the way, everyone. It's a free plug. Not that I'm sure they need it from us, but it is fantastic. It is on my must-watch list every year now. However,
is it on Netflix or is it?
It's on Apple TV.
Oh, Apple TV. I mean, Apple TV. I haven't got a subscription to Apple TV. It's annoying.
You need to treat yourself for Christmas.
Yeah, Ted Lasso is someone been recommended as well.
I've had that recommended too. Anyway, back on topic.
Anyway, go on, carry
what
on,
I like about this, what makes you think of, because this is, talking about the films I always watch, and I do during December. We'll watch them. Love Actually is another one on the Christmas list, but there's all these comfortable films, and the Christmas tree's up, and the presents are down there, and mince pies are eaten, and more so. Go on, what are you saying? What have you got there? Mince pies? Nice.
And I'll share them with you, Lee, but mate, you're not in the
doesn't
same
work
room.
virtually. Doesn't work. It's fine. I am plentiful here as far as Christmas food goes. But also you go at the shops and everyone's that little bit friendlier, and you chat to people on the street, and it gets to Christmas and you say Merry Christmas to everyone, and you go for you go out for a drink or a meal, and there's an atmosphere to December, particularly towards the end of December.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
So my thing to throw out there with the quote of keep Christmas in my heart and trying to keep it all year. Why are we not this friendly and jovial and heartwarming and welcoming to everyone all year round? Why is it December? Why does everyone get nicer in December and then you kind of drop back to whatever your status quo is in January? Is my thought experiment to throw out for the week, Jose.
Yeah, I really like it actually, because this is something you can fall into. Is everybody can fall into it, and I think for me having this podcast actually keeps me on track. So I think I make a pretty good thing of it. We're doing that. Like I always, because the thing you talk about, and we talked about before, showing kindness. We talk about it all the time, right? So not that we're 100% on it like ourselves. I mean, there's still times when I get negative thoughts and I maybe judge, and I try not to judge. But then this podcast reminds me not to do it. But I think it just reminds people of what kindness is about. Christmas just does that, doesn't it? Because it's a massive celebration. In fact, it's the biggest, the biggest, what they call it, I can't think of it, campaign ever, isn't it? It's like it goes everywhere across the world, and I think everyone gets caught up with it. I mean, there's some people who don't like Christmas and all that sort of stuff, but majority of people like to show kindness around this time. Why don't they do it? I think because people get caught up and get caught up in the everyday grind, right? And not take a step back and and it's you meet up with people more. I mean, obviously COVID and stuff that happened. I mean, it's not so much now, but people meet up a lot more, don't they? They'll meet up more than they would usually. I mean, now we've got this sort of hybrid working, right? But I think Christmas just encourages that. People have a little few drinks, get a bit merry. Oh, do you remember that? In fact, I had a bit of a Christmas do, and went out with a friend, and we were singing Back in Black. And but now we've got this thing going, all right, called hashtag Back in Black, right? And this whole thing going, but that wouldn't have happened had we not got together, for this Christmas do. And again, that's one example, I suppose, of where we maybe don't carry it through. Well, we've had the Christmas now, and we just move on. But I always keep that. I mean, I try and keep that. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. I just I try and keep this in my heart that I want to connect with people. Even today, I've been successful in getting a position, and I've sent a note out to my network expressing gratitude to say thank you for every single interaction which I have for everybody in this network, because I wanted to express that. And I think this is what I try and keep it in my heart. But it's difficult sometimes. But the reason why people don't do it, I think people get caught up in the everyday things and there's struggles, right? And then people forget. They just I just got to focus to get through this thing. And people maybe they haven't carved out their purpose. Maybe they haven't got a routine in the morning which keeps them on track. And we're just very lucky and very fortunate to have this podcast that keeps us on track. So my answer to that question is people don't stay on track because they lose sight of the bigger picture of what, the bigger picture of one day. I know it's going to be a bit sad, but I'm going to talk about a Stoicism quote, which is really big for me, called Memento Mori, remember death. And I think, my mum now passed away, it's going to be 2 years ago. And since my mum passed away, I'm even more fixated on the fact that we need to make the most of the time we're here. But I think we forget that. And I forget it sometimes. Look, my mum passed away, but I sometimes forget it. But I think it's important to recognise that we're not here forever, and people forget that. And I think that's the reason why that we just, we get involved in these things that we think are big, and it's not really big. You fall out with someone, and you think it's a big deal, right? But it's not really. When you take a step back from it all and you think about what you're arguing about, really the grand scheme of things, is it that vital that you win that argument or whatever? Is it that vital? Probably not. Like, how can you go through life, still, being honest and having disagreement, but do it in a way which you can do it respectfully, or try and get a win-win, as one of my favourite people. Where have I got the book? Oh, I've got the book. Probably buried. Well, Stephen Covey's book, what I'm talking about, right? Oh, you probably can't even hear me now.
I can. You're echoey, but you're there. Seven habits of highly successful
7 habits.
people.
I've got it here. Actually, I've got it here, but it's buried, I think. I don't want to. Oh, it's here. Sorry. I want to just shut, because look, this book, honestly, and I bring it out quite a lot, and now I've actually got this little reputation. Oh, I don't know if this is appropriate.
Oh, here we go. I like some inappropriateness.
They say this. I'm just going to trigger you, Lee. Right? As soon as I say this, it's going to trigger Lee. Right? Oh no, Hader's getting his covey out again. Right. Well, I will. I'll get my covey out. This is what I get.
That creates all sorts of images for me in my head.
Always talk about habits.
I'm not going to say they're unpleasant, but they're there.
Well, we just got to go with this, right? We're going with it right now. So get my covey out. Hashtag get your covey out. That's what it's all about. But if every time people talk about stuff like listening, or they talk about kindness, or they talk about improvement, it's all in that book. And I say, oh, get the book out. Here it is. And these are all the lessons which keep me on track. And I think this is the thing we lose. And if you haven't got a stable core or a stable value system, where mine is, as we know, is inspiration, right? Then you lose track. And I think, going back to your question, why do people not show kindness? I think there's a lot of reasons, but mainly because people just forget about Memento Mori, all those things. And that, as human beings, we're here to do the best we can, and we should all try and connect. And I truly believe, Lee, that this is the wrong say. There are some bad people in the world, but there's mostly good people. And I think if we can hold that true, then we can go through this world, act with kindness. And if people are horrible to us, we can forgive them. But do it for us, not for them, right? Still let it go. We've all had our challenging people, but ultimately we're all going to die and end up in the ground or cremated. And I think we've got to bear that in mind. And I think we forget that.
I'm going to be out at sea on a boat as someone shoots a flaming arrow in.
Yeah, that. Yeah, Viking burial, right?
That's how I'm going.
So anyway, Lee, you asked. I know I've rambled on a bit there, but it's a lot of good stuff that we can pull from this learning, because I think it's important, because I think we should try and keep it alive. But why they do it, I think we just forget why we're here.
So
Over to you.
no, I love all of that. So actually, we're planning in the start of January. We're going to have our annual reflections show, talking about our year and resolutions, etc., etc. And I won't go into all that now, but I cannot wait to talk about it because I put some stuff in place at the start of last year, which has enhanced my life like you wouldn't, to the point that if I don't know how to do it, but if I was to summarize me as a person, this thing I started at the start of this year is now a core part of who I am. And what it's led to has been amazing. And so much so, I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, oh God, that's only this year I started that. It feels so much a part of my life that I can't really remember when it wasn't. And it's only this year I started doing it. So, and was it a resolution? It was the formation of a habit. It was brilliant. So anyway, we'll talk about all that. I'm very excited about that, as you can tell. Keeping Christmas in my heart all year is my resolution for next year. And I don't know exactly what that means or what it looks like, but I know it's going to be good. And I've put this out there. I said, why don't we do it? So money where my mouth is, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think you do already.
I think I can do better.
Well, yeah, but I think because the things you talked about, like not judging, kindness, all that stuff, is what Christmas is about, right?
It's another level, though, Jose. There's another level, and that's where I'm
Yeah, I mean,
going.
it depends. What? So when you say, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
No,
Is that all right?
no,
Well, I'm asking the question.
no. We're
Right.
done. Inspiration, 3, 2, 1, etc., etc.
The question is, what does that look like now compared to what you're doing now?
I just think there's maybe, and I'm on my feet with this because I only thought of this as you were talking.
Hmm.
But I don't know. There is an extra level of kindness and forgiveness that you have at Christmas. It's like things aren't as important. You know, there's it's Christmas, or I'll worry about that after Christmas. Not saying I'll now put off everything and not do it, but if you can defer it for a few days, you know, your anger, angst, judgment, whatever, because it's Christmas, you don't want it to get in the way of Christmas. Chances are, by the time you get to dealing with it, it's now not as emotive a thing. So, if you can do that at Christmas, why can't you do that every day? I'm not saying just put things off, but that consciousness of, like you said, majority of people aren't a bad person. What is their intention? That kindness, that spirit of things, and also that kind of relaxation in myself, that comfort of it's Christmas, this feels good. I want to try and embody that. And again, I don't know how that is. I don't know what it looks like, but
Can I ask you another question? Because I really like this. How will you remind yourself to do that?
one way I thought, which won't work because I'm not sure you can get them all year round, was that I start each podcast with a mince pie.
Oh, do you know what? I think that's really cool. Could you get them? You can get them
But
quite most of the year.
that's a real.
You'd have to make it. You'd have to make one, wouldn't you?
That's a real in your face reminder and quite
Yeah.
literal. But I
Actually
don't know.
like.
I need to get the trigger. I need to make it real. But that is my challenge, if you like, for next year.
I really like that. I think something like a mince pie is a really good idea. Actually, I think that'd be quite funny. Hashtag mince pie, and like it's January. Like I think it's brilliant.
Plus, I do quite like mince pie, so it feels like a little treat for myself every week.
I love it. I mean, yeah, but I think that's the thing. I think you've got to have a trigger. It's like if anybody here is trying to form a habit, it's trying to make it easy, right?
Yes.
Trying to make it easy to remember. That's why I asked because we can all say these things, and we've done this before. Like you've got all good intentions. You know, people talk resolutions. That's why. You know, I don't think Ryan believes in resolutions. Bless him. Lots of love to Ryan, by the way, as well. Like I know he mentioned at the top of his podcast. He doesn't believe in them, and to a certain degree, I suppose I'm a little bit. I mean, I've made videos about resolutions. I mean, back on the YouTube channel. I mean, I made about it. But I think now, as I've grown into this podcast and we've talked a lot, I think it's just an everyday. How do I get it into my daily? Like, how do I do that? How would I do that best? And well, like for me, this podcast is the weekly podcast to remind me. Oh God, you know that fell off this week. It's like, I got a bit emotional this week and I reacted this week. But this keeps me on track, and this is why I love this because we can just talk about all the things that we fail at, right? Because I think that's the brilliant thing about the podcast.
That's where you do your best learning.
Yeah, And so that's why I asked you the question, because I really would like this to happen. So is it going to be, are you going to sort of do it then at the beginning of each quick? Is that going to be a thing then? At the beginning of each podcast episode, we're going to see something from Lee that's going to remind you to remain more Christmassy. I'm thinking, actually, do you mind if I give a suggestion? Actually, it could be something a bit more easier. That you have that background on. I don't know, you can't really see it, but you have to have that background on all year round.
Jose, I realise it's behind me, but it's not really behind me. But I've currently got us on my screen 3 different times, so I can see us. I can see my picture a lot right now. It's a lot of work goes into getting this podcast out into the world, you know.
Bloody good it is. It's bloody good. I take my hat to Lee. He does a lot of work, and I actually am very grateful for Lee, to be fair. And Lee, you had a lot of energy this podcast, which I absolutely love, by the way. It's fantastic, and definitely taking it to the next level, which is, I'm super excited for next year, by the way. Yeah, so I know a little bit of what's going on. Not all of it, but I know a little bit, and it's going to be super exciting. Anyway, I don't want to get too excited as well, because all of you listening right now, or watching, or whatever, are going to be up for an absolute treat when we do the reflections one. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Anyway, Lee, carry on. Sorry, I've interrupted you.
No, you're good. I think that's... I wasn't sure what to go for this one, but I knew I wanted to do a Christmassy quote. And as I say, the Scrooge one spoke to me because 3 of my... I say 5. There's probably more than 5. Top Christmas films are all based upon Scrooge. So it spoke to me. And actually, it genuinely made me think, oh, why can't I do that all year? Why can't I keep this feeling? So this is my mission. So I'm pre-doing it. I was going to say the resolutions. I'm with you as well. Well, I'm not going to say I don't believe in them, but I'm reframing it. So it's not. I think we spoke about this last year. Actually, it's not a resolution; it's a goal. And you can set a goal anytime, but it just feels like the end of the year is a good place to have those. It worked once for me last year, and again, we'll get into the recap. But my goal actually then sped off into 100 other different goals that are all spurred by that main one, and I'm hoping I can do something similar next year.
I don't think there's a hope. Hope is not a thing. It's just going to happen. I think I always hear people talk about hope. And I like the word hope when you're really up against it, because sometimes you need a bit of hope. But I think when we're trying to execute, I think let's get rid of hope and let's just execute. Let's just take an action and see what happens. Let's just take an action and see. It doesn't mean massive and crazy. Let's just do something that's connected with it that moves in the right direction. I think that's what's happened in this podcast. It's just moved in that direction. It's what I love with it. In fact, actually today, Lee, this is how big this podcast has got, really, because today, so I'm in a team meeting today, and someone's talking about, we was in a team meeting, and said, we got in this team meeting, we've got to take the weather with us, and we've got to create our own weather. I said, that's really interesting, because we've actually got an episode about that.
Yeah, we do.
We'll get back on the podcast. So we refer to episode 110. It is part 1. So I loved it. This is why I love it, because actually all the stuff that people talk about in businesses, in books, we're talking about it. We're always talking about it every single week. So come on here, ask some questions, like the live, and get this out there, because people need to hear this. Honestly, please, if you're on TikTok, wherever you are, like it, share it, because, I hear this stuff all the time. People keep repeating the same stuff, and we've talked about it. It's here. We're doing it every week, and it's brilliant. And it's what I love about this stuff, because now I live and breathe it. And when people say, yeah, you're talking about it at work, but yeah, I actually do. I talk about outside work as well. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I love it. And it's lovely to be able to reference things and go, oh, by the way, we've got an episode on that. And I go, do you want to check it out? But it's like, I've talked about this. This is something that's really, really, really does work.
And if people are interested in that, by the way, episode 177 on August the 5th, 2022, always take the weather with you.
Yeah. Well, 110 kicks it off, because it's part 2, that one is. That's part 2. Part 1 is 110.
Hold on.
Also, 5 years ago, I did, if you type in on YouTube, I think, you take your weather with you, Inspirational. I think there's a 1 minute, 10-second clip of me talking about it. I'm in the shopping centre and it's raining outside, and I talk about take the weather with you. So I've been talking about this 5 years ago.
Very true. And you're right, 110. On-air production meeting, but have we got the same topic twice?
Don't think so.
We do. We definitely got always take the weather with you twice.
Yeah, but I think it does. I don't think it was called that, was it? I think it's a part 2. I don't know where the part 2 came from, but I don't know.
I'm going to call it part 2 just for continuity. Look at this live production notes. What more could people want? Feels like it might be time to wrap us up.
Well, I just wanted to say, actually, because this is what we've done. We've created so much content that you could go. Now you've got always like, what episode are we on now? 200 and something crazy. you could listen to almost like a daily podcast every single day. There's enough videos on the YouTube video for you to actually just, there's over 1,500 videos for you to actually just watch a video every single day. So if you want inspiration, just head over to YouTube and start put it on every morning, whack a video on, and you will just get some inspiration to your eyeballs in the morning to start
I
your
love
day.
it.
And if you need a bit of Leeism, a bit of Joseism, a bit of Ryanism, then all you got to do, just head over to Inspiration Nation YouTube channel, put it on every single morning, create a habit, put it on, and you're going to get a bit of us every day. And and just keep supporting, because this is what we're here to do. We're here to share when we fall on our faces
Yes, we are.
and tell you about it, so we all learn from it together, right? We're all a community living through this hard life together, doing the best we can to help each other out, bump along as humans, doing our best. And this is what this podcast's about. It's about the everyday challenges that everybody faces every single day across the world. We're here to add that value. So please get on the live, and don't forget to keep liking the live, please. Lee, thanks for liking, by the way. 134 likes. You're very busy on that finger, by the way.
It's not. I'm not all 134 of them.
You're not
But I'm a chunk.
134?
I'm a chunk
Oh,
of
I'll
them.
tell you what, who's liked that then? I want to give some shout outs. I don't know. But anyway. Oh, I've liked it myself. Oh, there you go. I like it myself. I can like it myself. Oh, my God. I can like my own podcast. That's crazy. Crazy. I didn't know I could like it myself.
Jose, no one wants to hear about you doing it to yourself, so we should move on.
Oh, don't start.
Everyone out there, we thank you for supporting the podcast, listening, watching, leaving us feedback, whatever you do, joining us live. We are on YouTube and TikTok every single week. Just search Jose Noya-Inspiration Nation, give it a follow. You'll be notified when we're going live, and you can get involved with the show. And of course, everyone listening on whatever podcast platform you're in, or if you're on YouTube, we really appreciate you. Hit subscribe, leave a review, tell friends and family. All that stuff really helps us. Check us out on social media at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN as well. Get involved with what we do. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope everyone has a great day tomorrow and celebrating.
Can't go yet. Sorry to interrupt you, Lee. We need big takeaways from today.
We do need big takeaways. I was going to just finish my Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays speak, but I won't do that now.
You still do it after.
My goal for 2024 is my takeaway. It's huge. I don't see how it cannot be that. Jose, what about you, my friend?
My takeaway is repeat. Just keep doing the thing you want to do to hit your goal. Just take that little step.
Form a habit.
And I've done this before. Yeah. Make it easy. Set yourself up for success. Just make it easy. Don't make it massive. Just very small, and just build it from there. That's James Clear. Read that book, Atomic Habits. We don't get paid for this stuff. Read that book. It'll make it easy for you to set that up. So just do it. It's brilliant. He's absolutely amazing. James Clear, brilliant. But yeah, I'm just looking out some likes. Just want to shout some people. So come on, I like this. So I'll give some shout outs. But anyway, Lee, that's mine. Sorry,
okay.
Lee, you can now do the merriment. Do the
because
merriment.
For those who are with us live, just so you know, we are recording our New Year's straight after this, because we're taking a week off next week for ourselves. So through the magic of editing, it will come out on New Year's. But if you want to get involved, you can get involved in 2 minutes on both TikTok and YouTube. And say, everyone out there, enjoy the rest of the year. Have lots of merriment, all that good stuff. Jose, same to you. 3, 2, 1.
Inspiration Nation.
Catch you guys later.
I'm going to leave the TikTok live.